introduction. Welcome to all of you who are here in person, and all of you who are here virtually joining us for this Google Database Day. And I couldn't be more excited to have this opportunity to speak to you, our valued customers and clients, and I'm very thankful for the partnership that we have with 66 Degrees. I'm Gus Kimble, as Leo mentioned, and I'm head of customer engineering for North America. I lead a team, it's just a fancy way of saying that, I lead a team of customer engineers, subject matter experts across databases and analytics that cover all of North America. So essentially their role is to work with all of you and to help you solve your business challenges and to help you understand how to best leverage our solutions to digitally transform your business. I've been at Google for roughly 8 months, and prior to that, I spent some time at Amazon Web Services, where I led the worldwide team focused on Microsoft workloads, specifically .NET and SQL on Amazon. And before that, I was at Salesforce. And I've had the unique experience to work for two carriers. I worked for NetApp, leading the New Jersey office there under George Carrion. And here at Google Cloud, I'm honored to be a part of the team that reports to Tom Carrion. So let's start with an introduction to Google Cloud and who we are and what we're about. And we have a lot of slides to go through today, but I'm a firm believer in really having a table stakes conversation with you all, whether you're in person, whether you're virtual. So as you take a look at this slide, we're seeing fantastic growth, and growth in scale. 92% of our customers said they'll spend more next year. We've attracted 5 million developers, and developers are, one of the key groups that drive consumption. Now, when you take a look at how we're enabling growth and scale, and this is indicative of the investments that we've made and that Google has made and Google Cloud has made. So 92% of customers spend growth next year, greater than 3x expansion of direct sales org since 2019, over 5 million developer trainings completed since 2018, over $840 billion cloud total addressable market by 2025. The train is moving, and it's moving because of the fact that we're investing. We're investing in technologies, we're investing in product engineers, we're investing in product research, and greater than 2,000 products and features released in 2021. I really want to focus on that because that highlights our innovation as an organization. Again, greater than 2,000 products and features released in 2021. We've introduced many new products and services last year, and Google Cloud Architect is still the highest paid certification in the IT industry 3 years in a row. And the reason is because there's so much demand for our products, which leads to high-paying jobs for people that have the skills to implement and manage that technology. So we're bullish, we're positive about the growth that we've seen, and we're growing much faster than number 3 and 4 enterprise software players, Oracle and SAP, and we're gaining ground, on AWS and Microsoft. So what's next for cloud? And when you think about where I see cloud going next, a lot of the cloud work to date has been focused, and most of all of you know this, has been focused on cost optimization. Reducing costs by moving technology to the cloud, lift and shift, reducing costs by using collaboration tools and being more efficient. But as we look forward, companies and customers want more than just cost optimization. As we think about some of the macroeconomic headwinds that we all are familiar with and that we're hearing about in the news, we have to think, and you all as customers have to think about digital transformation. I was in your shoes. Before I moved to NetApp and Salesforce and AWS and Google Cloud, I spent many years on the customer side as a CIO, as a CTO, as a head of enterprise architecture. So I understand and can relate to not only the cost optimization, but doing more with less. How do we become more efficient? How do we operate as a technology organization? How do you operate? How does one operate as, costing in a way? How do we become more efficient? How do we spend dollars more efficiently? How do we contain cost? But also, how do we become better customer companies? And this is part of the message today around what's next for cloud, that digital transformation. And as you look at this slide, that transformation cloud era, embedding transformation throughout the company. So no longer are we just having a conversation around databases, or we're just having a conversation around analytics. We're having a conversation around digital transformation. We're having a conversation around the customer experience. How can you become a better customer company? How do you meet your customers where they are along the journey? If you have an application, if you're financial services, maybe it's a digital trade ledger. Maybe it's a sales application if you're in retail. Maybe it's a payer provider application if you're in healthcare and life sciences. When you talk about transformation and you think about application and user interface, meeting the customers where they are, those are the combined joint conversations. And that's what I mean when I talk about that transformation cloud era, that digital transformation, right? Not just talking about databases, but databases and data modernization, application modernization. Cloud has to deliver more value. So when we talk to organizations, when I specifically talk to organizations, they're looking for 4 primary capabilities from us, right? They want to use digitalization to understand customers, whether it's their supply chains, and we're all hearing a lot about supply chains now, and maybe their products better with our data cloud, right? They want to be able to analyze the data, understand the data, and to run those applications, they're migrating to our cloud, but also new applications they're building on the cloud, using open architecture, and that's our infrastructure solutions. So as I mentioned during the intro, my team is a team of customer engineers across North America, and we're focused on data cloud. So when you think of data clouds, you look at this slide, think about being smarter. Databases, analytics, Vertex AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, if you will. And then there's open infrastructure cloud. Having that freedom to build applications on the cloud, leveraging that open architecture solutions, and then from there, collaboration cloud. And for many of you, for most of you, and definitely personally for myself, collaboration cloud really kept us moving and kept us alive, right? During the heart of the pandemic. Think about Google Workspaces, think about email, think about all the collaboration tools that we've leveraged and that you all leverage to collaborate with your peers, to collaborate with your customers, maybe to collaborate and have and maintain those personal relationships with your families, with your friends. Those connections are important, right? And then finally, trusted cloud. Most of you probably saw this announcement yesterday. We know we've completed the acquisition of Mandiant. And when we talk about trusted cloud, security and trust, that's at the foundation and the heart of everything that we do. Your trust is of the utmost importance to us. So if you're trusting us with your data, whether it's data cloud, if you're trusting us with your collaboration tools, if it's on workspace, applications, trust and security is at the heart of everything, the foundation of everything that we do. And that's part of our trusted cloud, protecting you, protecting your data, protecting your applications. And this is all part of that and comprises that transformation cloud. So why are we here today? What are customers asking? And my team and I, we have a lot of conversations with customers, across a number of initiatives, and we have customers, to be world class. It's not just about giving them technology. It's about also giving them the ability to have the skills in their organization and to have the capabilities in 5 key areas, right? And we ask these questions here. I won't read them all, but are we the best at understanding and using our data? Do we have the best technology infrastructure? Do we know our data, our systems, and users are secure? That goes back to that trust and security being, again, at the foundation of everything that we do. And are we addressing the most important challenges facing our world and facing you and your business? The conversations that we're having are not centered around Google products and Google solutions. They're centered around your business challenges. Where are you at in your digital transformation journey? How can we help you, right? And from there, architecting the right solutions to help you along that journey. And we believe in the multi-cloud approach. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It may not all be, something that can be resolved by a Google Cloud solution. We understand that. We recognize that. That open architecture, we talked about that. Our goal is to ask you questions and to understand, again, the challenges that are not only facing our world, but are facing you and are facing your business. We're focused on helping you, our customers, across these 5 important missions. So what are we talking about today? We're going to focus on, are we best at understanding and using our data? And we'll dive a little bit deeper in that. Do we have the best technology infrastructure? Absolutely we do. And do we know our data and our systems and our users are secure? Doesn't matter. Retail, healthcare, financial services, manufacturing. Can you trust us to ensure that your data on Google Cloud is, in your systems and your users are secure? Can you trust it? Again, it's at the foundation of everything that we do. So that's a bit of an intro to Google Cloud and what we're about, our values and how we, manage our relationships and cultivate the relationship with customers. So now I'm going to spend some time to talk about the value of Google databases. We're here for database days, right? So let's talk about the value of Google databases. Now, in terms of closing the value gap, let's just take a moment and digest this slide. 175 zettabytes, 5 years. Let's just digest that for a moment. 175 zettabytes in 5 years, right? 10 times the last 8 years. Now, when you think about digital transformation and the value proposition of this, 2/3 of that data produced is never analyzed. It's never analyzed, right? And this is the Uber problem here. This is the Uber problem statement, right? 68% of companies are unable to realize tangible and measurable value from their data. And this is key. This is critical. Because if we're talking about trusting us to migrate, lift and shift, or migrate and modernize that data, how can we go about also having conversations around how you can view that data, how you can analyze that data, how do you make sense of that data, how do you leverage that data to make you more intelligent from a business perspective, right? And that is part of how we at Google Cloud close that data value gap with you, our customers. Now, there are key areas that you've told us, our customers have told us that they really care about. And Tom Carrion, along with many of the great leaders that he's hired, that I have the pleasure, and my team has the pleasure of working with, Andy Gutmans, who is our Vice President, General Manager of databases, he and his team, along with Tom Carrion and his leadership team, have made a significant investment in our database portfolio, as well as Google Cloud. And these key themes for our portfolio investments, they portray that intentional investment that we made. And the first would be reliability and availability, right? So flexible configurations, options, as you see here, to help meet the needs of a wide range of workloads, including business-critical applications. So we're talking, 5 nines, like Bigtable, Spanner, 4 nines across some of our other solutions. That reliability and that availability. All right? Think of where we were a few years ago with some of these database solutions in terms of our uptime, in terms of their availability, reliability, and where we are today. That is key. We can't talk to you about trusting us with your data and migrating and moving and lift and shift and then the customer journey without taking serious consideration of reliability and availability. Security and governance. Again, it's at the heart of what we do, security and trust, right? That's data protection capabilities that can provide that security and that durability that you're looking for. And then there's observability, and I love this. I love observability because it's so engineers can self-help and root cause efficiently, right? So it's one thing to lift and shift, it's one thing to migrate and modernize, but that data now, once it's on the cloud, how do you observe that, right? Those concerns, again, as I mentioned, I have been in your shoes, right? So whether it's on-prem, well, it's on-prem, it's on my service, on my platforms, in my data center, I can control that, right? I have that observability. I can also collaborate with my developers and ensure that they have what they need. But once you move to the cloud, there may be a bit of anxiety around that. And that's why we've made those investments in our portfolio to ensure that we can empower you to empower your developers to help prevent those issues and to understand and troubleshoot and to optimize in real time, right? To understand, because here's the thing. Now, observability, when we talk about you being a customer company, that matters, right? Your customers if they're here in an application, they're pounding away in an application, and there's a performance issue in the back end, you need to understand that. You need to know what's happening. You need to be able to respond to that, all right? Because you have an SLA to your customers just like we have an SLA to you. So it's important when we think about the investments that we're making, especially in our database platform, in our portfolio, we have you, the customer, top of mind, working backwards from the customer. Simplified migrations. Regardless of where you are on your journey, making those database migrations easy and fast, helping you to modernize in the cloud and with open standards, containing cost, and that dependence on legacy databases, and that's critically important. There's a team that partners with my team of customer engineers that work and partner with you and our customers. That team is our solutions org. And that solutions org works very closely with my org, with my team, to ensure that they understand feedback, closing the loop there, understanding that feedback from the field, the feedback from you, our customers. They work very closely with our product engineering teams as well to understand, well, these are our portfolio, these are our product solutions. How and what solutions should we build to really simplify the process for our customers? Right? It's not just about solutions and database solutions and what's cloud native and what's not, but ensuring that you all have easy tools, our customers have simplified tools to, again, meet you where you are on your journey. And then highly integrated, leveraging various services across the ecosystem, unlocking potential data assets. This is really important to us, and again, our investments have shown that. And then financial governance and costs. And again, right now, I think having been in your shoes, a lot of us are having those conversations internally about macroeconomic headwinds and cost optimization. And this is another example of where we meet you where you are. It's not just a conversation about our solutions and our products, but the conversation around digital transformation, cost containment, cost optimization, making your teams more efficient, right? And having those intelligent conversations and ensuring that you have the robust tools to optimize and govern those costs. So when you look at this slide, cloud offers organizations agility, cost savings, differentiated capabilities, and 75% of all databases, right? They're expected to be in the cloud this year. And what does that mean, right? The sky's the limit when it comes to imagining and reimagining digital experiences. At least that's how customers view it, the conversations that we're having. Applications are more, about more than delivering, a service, right? It's more about delivering a service. It's about a journey. If you think about the applications that you're using on a handheld device, on a smartphone, applications whether you're on a tablet or a laptop, today's customers also expect these applications to be lightning fast. Financial applications, healthcare applications, whether you're walking through a process for a mortgage, what have you, you expect these applications to be lightning fast. Hyper-personalized, right? I know here on the slide you see personalized, but it's hyper-personalized, right? Hyper-personalized experiences. And how do you do that? You do it with data, right? Knowing something about your customers, how do you personalize the experience and the solutions for your customers, leveraging data that you know about them? And how do you make it easy to use? And that cloud database space is evolving rapidly with worldwide cloud databases market. And it's projected to reach about $68.5 billion by 2026. Operational databases, they power our most important applications in your business. And choosing an operational database can mean the difference between building a great customer experience or coming up short. And it's not, when you think about Google Cloud databases, we're simply unmatched when you think about speed, when you think about scale, when you think about security, and when you think about reliability. With just a few clicks, minimum overhead, our customers of any size can get started with an operational database to deliver the best possible experiences for our customers, from anywhere. So what's powering your customer experience when we have these conversations? And I mentioned data mod, databases, data modernization, and data modernization, how that goes hand in hand with application modernization, right? What's powering your customer experience are your applications. So raise your hand. If you're in the financial, and then virtually, I know I can't see you virtually, you can't raise your hand, but how many people here in financial services? or manufacturing or healthcare or retail. Right? So think about the applications there. I'm going to pick on retail folks. Think about the applications, right, that are leveraged there, the applications that your customers use. Think about the buying experience that they're encountering when they engage with the application. How do you meet them where they are in their journey? Whether they're thinking about something, whether they're thinking about a purchase, whether they're browsing a catalog, an online catalog, is that online catalog accurate? Right? First of all, is your inventory accurate? Is your inventory database tied to the application? Right? Is your order management system tied to that application? Is that back-end database fine-tuned and performing? And when you think about what's powering your applications, that's your operational databases. And these databases literally run your business. It's not sexy. It's in the back end. The users see the application. We know all the love goes to the application developers. We're going to pick on them for a while, right? But on the back end of that, that's what's powering that, right? The truck, the monster behind that, that's the database. And data is born in your applications, right? And in your operational databases. And those databases are an essential aspect of every customer cloud journey. So all of your current customers and your prospects, they're database customers and prospects as well, just like you are, right? Again, that security, that trust, the reliability, the availability, the performance of fine-tuning, that database is what's powering that application, and that's that customer journey. So this is kind of that NASCAR slide, right? And every organization, every company has this slide. And I'm really proud of this slide because when I take a look at this, I just asked about industries who are represented here today, whether you're here and to our folks who are virtual. We say leading businesses across industries are innovating with Google Cloud databases, and that's true. But what my takeaway from this slide is, and what I want you to take away from this slide is that we are not myopically focused on any specific industry or use case, right? When we make our investments, when Tom Curran and the Goodmans and others and all this, when they decide to make investments in Data Cloud, in our database portfolio, they are thinking about all of our customers, large, small, enterprise, what have you. They're thinking about retail, such as what Walmart has done, starting with lift and ship, right, with Oracle, and then from there, moving to manage solutions like Cloud SQL along that customer journey. We're talking about media entertainment, Spotify, Vimeo, Major League Baseball, gaming. When I joined Google Cloud, I was insanely impressed, especially as a kid who grew up, and I'll tell my age here, grew up born in the 70s, but grew up in the 80s. When you think about gaming, for me, I'm starting out with an Atari, right? You see what gaming is today, and you see how gaming is leveraging our platform, specifically our database solutions, our portfolio. It's exciting, right? And then financial services. These regulated industries like financial services, healthcare and life sciences. Goldman Sachs, leveraging our solutions for their consolidated trade ledger, right? I spent a lot of time in financial services at companies like Fidelity Investments. I also worked in the institutional asset management space. I also worked in the hedge fund industry for a number of years. And I can tell you, in the healthcare and life sciences, I also spent time in the pharmaceutical industry with ASI Pharmaceuticals. And I had a lot of conversations, not just working in the industry, but over the course of my career, consulting with industry companies like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase and BlackRock. And these highly regulated industries, especially in financial services, they move at the speed of lightning, right? And they have to think, when you think about wealth management, banking, retail banking, everyone in this room, some way, some shape or form, you bank, right? You maybe have a wealth manager, financial advisor. So think about the enormous amount of data just in that particular industry alone. Think about the applications that you're using. Think about fintech. These fintechs and these startups, how are they fine-tuning their applications, right? And what's the powerhouse behind them? And take a look at this NASCAR slide. You're seeing it here. PayPal, HSBC. Think about payments, how instant payments are, right? But think about that. What's powering those applications are the databases behind it. And again, that's why we made those investments in reliability, availability, observability, and we're continuing to constantly innovate to ensure that our solutions can be leveraged by this entire ecosystem of customers. And all of you, Leading organizations, all regions, all industries, they place their trust in our databases. And our databases remain one of the fastest growing segments of Google Cloud. It's why I'm so excited to be here. Think about my opportunity to lead a team of engineers focused on databases, AI, ML, and analytics. It's game changing. So this is another slide here, and it's kind of like, a typical like an industry slide, but it's also showing, a different, variation of the slide you just saw. When you think about like general purpose application development, user profiles, that personalization, how, what do you know about someone? How do you personalize that hyper-personalization, that experience, their interests? So if you take a look at, what some of our customers have done, right? Like Vonage, Palo Alto, IKEA with e-commerce and product inventory. These are just some of the use cases when you look across industries of what some of our customers have done, right? Especially in gaming. Again, I'm really excited about gaming, right? When you look at gameplay, entitlements and inventory, personal items and wallets, the marketplace there. It's content, the collaboration and management of web pages and articles, rich media. Again, personalizing that. Remember, content is huge when you talk about personalization, right? How do you keep that customer coming back, right? Whether it's that, whether it's retail, what have you. And then workflows, in advertising, creatives, serving configuration, and again, when you think about advertising, I also think about marketing analytics. You think about databases and having that data around marketing, and how do you analyze that? So let's talk now about the journey to digital transformation and what that journey to digital transformation really looks like, right? So we've listened to our enterprise customers and been focused on meeting customers where they are today. I keep mentioning that because it's very important, not just to me or to my team, but to Google as a whole. The conversations that we have with you, the relationships that we're building with you, they're not based on a portfolio of solutions. They're not based on product, all right? We're working backwards from you all, the customer, right? It's based on where are you in your journey, fundamentally understanding what your business is, what your business model is, what are your compelling events. And in some cases, a compelling event may be, hey, I'm up for a license renewal, or the compelling event is we've just acquired a new company. The compelling event could also be that we have this new initiative and we have to build an application as a result of that new initiative, and we need to have conversations about our back-end operational databases, right? But the conversation is never about product, right? It's about you and meeting you where you are in your journey. And the first step for traditional enterprises is to lift and shift their databases to compatible managed services, such as one of the cloud SQL engines. And we call these migrations homogeneous because they're like for like, right, on the database engine. So the next phase is modernization, as you see here. And then the final stage is transformation to a cloud-native database, such as Spanner or Bigtable. And these are optimized for planet-scale services, and they integrate with the best of Google advanced analytics and AI services. But this is that journey, right? That migrate, easy, cost-effective, Oracle BMS, such as Walmart, Macy's, that lift and shift. It's not all or nothing, right? And this is what we mean when we talk about, the open architecture. It may not all be on Google Cloud, meeting you where you are. You may not be, in modernizing your journey. Maybe some of you are at Transform. But the goal here, when you look at some of the stories we're talking about, like Macy's and Walmart and Sabre, we met in Goldman Sachs, we met them where they were. The conversation started around an application or a user experience or a compelling event. It started around something that had nothing to do with product, right? And then from there, it's discovery, asking questions, understanding your business, understanding your concerns, understanding your needs and your challenges, right? And having those conversations with you and understanding where you are in that journey. So the first being migrate, as I mentioned, second being modernize, and then transform. Now, when we talk about migration, for customers, let's say, for example, bringing Oracle workloads to Google Cloud, we offer the bare metal solution for Oracle that allows you, our customers, to run Oracle databases the same way that you do on-prem. So again, essentially it's a lift and shift. right? But it's cost effective. And correct me here now, Deep, if I'm wrong, but I believe that Oracle BMS solution is less than 2 milliseconds in latency to all GCP services. Less than 2 milliseconds in latency to all GCP services. And that bare metal solution enables customers such as you all to continue using your existing Oracle technologies such as RSC, DataGuard, and RMAN. And a great example is what Commerce Bank did, with the bare metal solution. Again, lift and shift, right? They quickly and cost effectively moved their workload over, and they were able to bring that workload over and run it securely on our solution. And they migrated, as you see here, 135, I believe even more now, but 135 Oracle databases for 35 applications. Again, you see where I'm going with this story, right? It's a customer success story, but I'm not talking databases without talking about applications, right? So they would migrate 135 Oracle databases for 35 applications, bridging closely to Google Cloud. Great example, great customer, Commerce Bank. Now that next stage is modernization, that heterogeneous migration, right? So from here, how do we, in terms of meet you where you are with that stage of your journey? And we listened to our customers, and we focused on, meeting you where you are with this. And that first step for these traditional enterprises, and you customers, and some of you are small business, large enterprises, is to lift and shift that current database. But then from there, move to a compatible managed service, such as a Cloud SQL engine. And we call these migrations homogeneous because they're like for like, as I mentioned. But as you modernize, that helps you move off that old guard, that whole old proprietary database, such as Oracle, with a heterogeneous migration into a modern database, such as LOADB. A lot of excitement around LOADB. We announced it a couple of months ago. I'm sure many of you have heard about that. We'll hear more about that, I'm sure, at Next. And, as you move to that modern database, and we have customer examples around it as well, that's that second stage of the journey. So again, we've gone through the lift and shift, the migration. Okay, so now we're here. Now we trust it. We understand it. We have the visibility. We have the observability. We built this relationship. How do we modernize now? How do we modernize and take advantage of that next phase? And this is where we meet you where you are with this journey as well. Now, a great example of that is Manhattan Associates. They run hundreds of Cloud SQL instances right now. They have a few database administrators, DBAs. And as you see here, they've created a replica for a terabyte-sized database in less than 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes, which used to take several days. So that's efficiency. And obviously, if you think about this, if this took several days, this is not just only efficiency, but there's also cost optimization, cost containment here as well, right? If you're able to do things faster and move faster, then your IT DBAs, they can work on other projects, other solutions, right? They're not taking days to create a replica for a terabyte-sized database. And since they've implemented that, unplanned downtime is 83% less than with previous database solutions. And they moved every Manhattan active solution to Google Cloud, including Cloud SQL, with less than 4 hours of downtime. So again, another great example, but they didn't start there, right? They initially started with a lift and shift, right? So I want to be clear about that. I'm highlighting this as a customer success story because it is. But they initially started with the lift and shift, such as what Walmart and IKEA and a few others, right? Some of our customers are already in the cloud. They've already made that migration, made that move. And again, we meet them where they are. Maybe this is where they are on the journey, and we help them navigate that, all right? And then the final stage I'm referring to here is that transformation to cloud-native databases, such as Spanner and Bigtable. 5 nines there, 5 nines of availability with Spanner and Bigtable. And these are optimized, as I mentioned, for planet-scale services. They integrate with the best of our analytics and the best of our AI services. And a great example of this is Macy's. I mentioned Macy's, repeating myself here, I mentioned Macy's a number of times here. But, Macy's, they've gone through, I believe, every journey, every part of this journey, every aspect, right? The lift and shift, the migration, and then the modernization, and now the transformation, right? Obviously, retail industry, leveraging Cloud Spanner, leveraging Bigtable, single-digit latency for catalog queries. And Spanner, This is insane. Spanner is supporting 10,000 plus queries per second, meeting their SLA of 4 nines uptime. So great story, around Macy's. And again, these are just a few of the customer success stories. And you saw many more in the NASCAR slide. And for some of you, for most of you, I believe, and I'll confirm, I believe I can share some of these slides, these customer stories. And many of these are on our public-facing website, where you can read more and understand more about these customers and their journey with Google Cloud. So when you think about your journey, and as I start to wrap up, my talk track here, I want you to focus on this particular slide, right? Talked about some of the customer success stories. And as I mentioned, I've been in your shoes. I know the challenges that you all as our customers are facing. I've been a customer. I spent the majority of my career, great majority of my career on the customer side, nonprofit industry, financial services, healthcare, life sciences, ultra financial services, hedge fund industry. And I can tell you that, the conversations at the time that I was having, when cloud was just forming, right? We were thinking about, business intelligence, how to consolidate data, how to read data. We have rows and rows and rows of data, whether it's in a spreadsheet, whether it's in an Access database, right? And how do we take advantage of the cloud? Those were the conversations we were having back in the 90s, right? And then you get into the early 2000s, and you see where we are today. You see how we've evolved to today. But the fact of the matter remains is the conversations that I was having back then and the things that kept me awake at night are very similar to the things that you're thinking about today, right? In terms of where are you in your journey? This slide is timeless in terms of, are you at the migration phase? Do you have applications today, legacy applications, legacy database solutions that, you're considering, migrating to the cloud for a variety of reasons? Could it be cost containment? Could it be optimization? Could it be more efficiency? Could it possibly be, maybe there's some economic headwinds, and you're considering, how do I, focus my staff, focus my teams on something other than maintaining a database application, right? How do I take advantage of cloud solutions, at least maybe for this business critical application, which in turn allows me to focus on something else, or allows my team to focus on something else? So how do I de-risk, that by rapid migration of all this on-premise solutions to GCP? And then think in terms from there, that modernization. We talked about some of the customers who have moved already to fully manage LADB and Cloud SQL. And what does that mean, right? And I want to emphasize, you're not in this journey, alone. With Google Cloud and partners like 66 Degrees, this is why we're here. We're not here to talk to you about product. We're not here to talk to you about, these are all the solutions in our portfolio, pick one, and this will solve all your problems. This is not what we're saying. This is not why we're here. Our thinking, our partner ecosystem, Google Cloud, the investments that we've made and continue to make, we make them with the customer, with you, our customer, in mind at each and every step. So when we think about this modernization journey, and you look at our solution portfolio, that solution portfolio is indicative, right? It is a representation of this cloud journey. Should I dip my toe into the water and maybe a migration? Am I ready to modernize that database because of some enhancements and some work we're doing with this application? Am I ready to move to cloud native? Spanner, Baytable, to transform, right? Wherever you are in that journey, our partner ecosystem, they're available and we're available to guide you through that. And again, the investments that we've made in our solution portfolio are representative, of this journey. Now, this is a more busier, I would say a busier journey map. And I'm not shocked that they threw this slide in here, because this is definitely one that I talk to my customers about quite often, right? And this is how, these engineers, these awesome, amazing customer engineers, like Arturo, who's going to speak later, Navdeep on my team, when they have conversations with you, our customers, they're thinking about this journey map. right? Understanding your challenges, your objectives, and the environment, right? That is essential. I'll stop right there. That's essential for everything we do. Everything that we do and all the work that we do with our partners, such as 66 Degrees, is based on that journey map, meeting you where you are. So what are your business objectives? Understanding your environment. Two of you raised your hand for retail. We're not going to come in and talk to you about financial services or healthcare or manufacturing. You're retail, right? So understanding your business, understanding your environment, reviewing, the infrastructure, the applications, and then discussing the solutions, right? What is the target state? What do you want to be when you grow up? Where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years? What is your roadmap? What is the roadmap that you've communicated to your business? And ensuring that we understand that fully, rather than just throwing darts at the dartboard, right, and figuring out what sticks. That's not how we operate. That's not how we run our business. And that is not how we make our investments. And our partners, we're tightly aligned with. That's not how they approach their customer population base as well. What's that value proposition? And then from there, we go from there to monetization, right? So as we're having these conversations with you, we're understanding, is it refactor, is it renew, is it a data-first monetization, unlocking that data? And then as we're having a conversation, are we just talking about database, fine-tuning it, the performance, rows of data, how we import those rows of data? Are we having that conversation, or are we and should we be having a conversation that's centered around digital transformation, database and data modernization, and application modernization, right? With security sprinkled on top of all that, at the foundation of it, right? Those are the conversations that we should be having. And those are the conversations that we are having with our customers, like you and those who are joining us virtually. The conversation and the thought here today, and the takeaway from today is not just, oh, Google Cloud has these awesome databases. We do, and hands down we do, right? And I'm not just saying that. We absolutely have an awesome database portfolio. But I want you to think more broadly than that, right? Think about how our portfolio of solutions and our journey map, how can we meet you where you are and help you along that journey? Whether you're migrating, lift and shift, whether you're modernizing, or whether you're ready to transform. And this is definitely, again, I'm pretty sure we can share these, or at least some of these slides with you, but this is definitely a takeaway and something to really think about and digest. Right, that journey map. Not just at the heart of what we do and how we engage with our customers, but for you to think about where you are in your journey, all right? For those of you who are joining us virtually, think about where you are with your database infrastructure, your applications, right? And how we and our partners at 66 Degrees can help you along that journey. I want to open it up for questions from the audience. No, thank you for the question. So when you think about the teams, we have, I mentioned a solutions team. Oh, sure, I'll repeat the question. So the question was, I'll summarize. It was around our journey map, right? How do we leverage the talent, people, teams at Google, as we comprise this journey map, and what solutions do we leverage? Right? And correct me if I'm wrong here. What solutions do we keep in mind and leverage as part of the journey map? Does that summarize? And when we think about where we are, part of it is the investments we've made, right? The investments that we talked about that we made in our database solutions, all right? Solutions, whether it's Oracle BMS, whether it's Cloud SQL, whether it's Spanner and Bigtable, to meet you where you are, whether it's migration, modernization, or transformation. But then from there, our customer engineering team, the team that I lead for North America, our goal and our remit is to be subject matter experts across not only our database portfolio of solutions, but also our AI/ML, our analytics solutions as well. So the conversations that our customer engineers are having as they go through discovery, as they go through Q&A with you, our customers, understand your business, understand your challenges, understand your infrastructure, your enterprise infrastructure, they understand, and they have a remit to understand our entire database portfolio of solutions. But to also, and I'll use a phrase that I use quite often, to also understand that business equals tech, and tech equals business. And what do I mean by that? I cannot stand here today and have a conversation with any of you, whether you're here in person, whether you're virtual, and talk about databases without talking about applications or security. I also can't have a conversation about technology without talking about your business, right? Retail, healthcare, manufacturing. And what's the compelling event, right? What is a compelling event? Is it budget constraints? Is it a customer acquisition? Is it competitive? How do we help you become more competitive, right? In your particular vertical. So when we think about that, and I love that question, it's really a matter of, leveraging and harnessing our go-to-market teams, leveraging our partner ecosystem, leveraging our solutions team, the team that I mentioned that actually builds solutions that helps you, our customers, it makes it easier for you to leverage our solutions, right, and our products. And it also builds solutions that, like this, that helps us understand. If we're talking about, business objectives, let's build discovery. Let's understand what does it mean to conduct and build, have discovery with the customer, right? If we're talking about understanding your environment, what does a POC look like? Having a program around a proof of concept. If we're talking about, value proposition, having business value services teams, right, to help understand and create, ROI models and cost optimization models. This is, again, where we meet you, our customers, where you are. And an investment, as I'm talking about this and answering your question, that investment, as you can tell, has not just been made in product engineering and product management. By the way, our product engineering team, when you look at product management, product engineering, the product engineers heavily outweigh the product managers. That just shows, again, that investment we're making there to engineer, our solutions and constantly remain innovative. But the investment has not only been made in our portfolio of solutions, but we've also made an investment in our people, as well as in our partner ecosystem, to ensure that we have processes in place, reusable, repeatable processes in place, to ensure that we can help you along this journey map. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, one of your slides, you mentioned 75% of all databases is going to be moved to the cloud this year. Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, are you talking about, for example, in Google, that means that they're going to be on the native cloud databases, or just shift and leave, including shift and leave, just installing other databases on the cloud?
Right. So the question, I'll repeat the question if you didn't hear it. So there was one of the slides I referenced was, and thank you for that question, was around that data point. 75% of databases moving to the cloud within the next year. And the question was, is that number cloud native, like a bit table or spanner, or is it lift and shift, or is it a move to manage, like a cloud SQL? And that number, that metric, it comprises all three. It comprises all three. That 75% is across the board. When we look at, again, because we're looking at it from a journey perspective, right? So is it a matter of, if you're migrating, Oracle BMS solution, and lifting and shifting, or if you're, moving to managed cloud SQL, we're looking at any solution, that's moved to the cloud, that's 75%, comprising all three.
Do you have the breakdown? It's an impressive number.
Yeah. I will, Michelle, I don't know if we do, but I'll speak with, I don't personally have that breakdown, but I can definitely understand why you're asking that question. Because again, as in your shoes, as a customer, you're looking at that and you're always wondering, okay, well, that's an impressive number, but how many of those 75% are at stage 2, right? How many are at stage 2 in that journey? And how many are now, they're starting to transform? And then how can we break that down further? That's a great takeaway from this. So my supporting team here, let's take a note, but that is definitely a great takeaway. Again, meeting you where you are. How many of that 75% are transforming or moving to manage, modernizing, or how many are just now dipping their toes in the water, right? It's very important to understand that. And then even from there, can we even break it down further to understand industry, right? To make it even more relevant for your customers. So thank you for asking that. That's definitely something. And we're here talking about databases. Let's dive deeper into the data and get more granular with that metric. So thank you. That's definitely a takeaway from us, and we'll follow up with that.
And I have a question a little bit more specific than that. What are the trends with, you had mentioned Oracle Exadata, right? What are the trends of that? Like, can that run in the cloud, or is that moving to the cloud? I know it has some high-end requirements.
when we are talking about. Hello? Can you? Yeah, so when it comes to Exadata, majority of the time, there are few approaches we are taking. For warehousing, we are taking that data, migrating that to BigQuery. But for analytic workload, which is OLTP workload, so there's a service called AlloyDB. So think of it like, depending how critical that data is, how much volume that data is processing, you can either move it on BMS or take that data. If you're looking for a heterogeneous migration, you can move it to AlloyDB. So application by application, you can define which direction you're moving. For
AlloyDB would be a sensible
that is
roadmap for Oracle Exadata.
meaning that is going forward is going to be the key attribute which we are when we will be presenting AlloyDB features or other of AlloyDB, you will figure out what kind of performances this database can generate and can be a very heterogeneous migration for kind of an Exadata. So there is also a service for us, Tile as a service, where we can even lift and shift your Exadata from your data center and keep it into our regional extensions. So think in those perspectives, lift and shift as is, Tile as a service, or if it is not consuming ton of space, then we can move it to BMS. Or if you're looking for a heterogeneous migration, we can move it to AlloyDB. So those are the few aspects. Just keep those perspective in mind.
You can do Exadata on BMS, on the bare metal solution?
BMS, meaning not Exadata, meaning BMS is like Intel box, where you can move the data. Oracle database is Oracle database, right? Okay. So you can always move that data from Exadata towards BMS, but application to application specific. So think of an application which is, like looking for a millisecond response and running on a latest version of an Exadata. There we might have to, break that application down and think what portion can move, what portion can stay on that. So there are few customers which we are, helping in that direction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions, virtual or in person? All right, great. And as I mentioned, we'll definitely share that journey map. Thank you, Nadeep. It's a great takeaway as you think about where you are, in your journey. Now, coming up, we have a pretty amazing customer spotlight here. Very honored to have Mo Astley, CTO at Conversa, to come and talk about their journey, his journey, and his company's journey with Google Cloud. I think nothing is more important for us than to share the success stories, of our customers, and who better to hear those stories from and to understand their journey than from the customer themselves. So, thank you, Mo, for joining us today, and a round of applause for Mo.